I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
And good afternoon, race fans. Welcome here as we get set for qualifying for race number 15 of Season 7, the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. We are here at the M&Ms Super Speedway, second time that this 3-mile super speedway makes an appearance on the Duracell Cup Series schedule. Last year was its season debut here. Second race of the second half of the regular season, the portion of the season we dubbed the Chase Towards the Chase for the championship. 10 minutes on the clock for our first group in round 1 to head out onto the racetrack. Fast 5 will, of course, transfer into the final round of qualifying to run for the pole. We got about a half dozen drivers already have headed out there. Going to take as much advantage of this 10-minute session as possible. 43 drivers looking to qualify here today. 42 will make the show. 1 driver will go home. Last week, endurance race at Charlotte. Connor Breton going to victory lane for the second time this season, second time in his career. 6th win on the season for the rookie class, as all 4 of our full-time rookies have found victory lane. Casey Hoyt twice, Breton now twice, then Will Goss and Kyler Sustry with 1 win apiece. James Qualls, Austin LaPlante out here tandeming. Gonna have to have somebody to work with here in this qualifying session. If you're going to make your way into the Fast 5, you're going to need draft. More specifically, you're going to want to be that second or third car in line. Get the toe down the straightaway. Put down those draft laps. So right now, Austin LaPlante would be in the prime position of these 2 cars right now. Even more ideal for him if he had somebody behind pushing him, although that's kind of like what Qualls has right there. You see just up ahead is Rob Evans. So maybe not this lap, but next lap, if he's able to get into the draft of the 65, James Qualls could have a flyer of a lap time. He might have caught a little whiff of draft off the 65 that time by, because he actually ran faster than LaPlante did. Gonna have speed starting to scroll on the top of your screen here, with a little over 7 minutes remaining. Right now, Matthew Rodriguez at the top of the board. And he's in this pack here with the defending winner of this race, Michael Norman in the 22. Cole Deaver in the 3. Levi McIntyre in the 99. 2-time winner Matthew Rodriguez coming into this race in the critical 30th position in points after failing to qualify last week at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He dropped 12 spots in the standings. He needs to stay in the top 30 for his 2 wins, Daytona and Indianapolis, to count towards a wild card spot. And he needs to have a faster lap than the other 2 non-charter drivers that we'll see in the second group here in round 1, Kyler Sustray and Mike Tellier. Right now, sitting well, was at the top of the board, now third on the board at a 51.886. So much like we saw last week at Charlotte, Rodriguez will be the benchmark lap time that the other two non-charter drivers in the second group will try to match. Levi McIntyre fifth on the board right now. Levi keeps hovering between locked in on points, locked in via wildcard spot as far as the ever-changing playoff grid goes. Last week going into Charlotte, he was in the, well, it would have then been the second wildcard spot. And after last week, he moved up into the top 10 in points, so now he'd be locked in on points. Cole Deaver, second on the board right now at a 51.132. Deaver 21st in points coming into this one. Deaver, the other track that is similar in configuration to this Super Speedway, Coke Zero Super Speedway, as I recall, had a very good qualifying effort there. So not surprised to see maybe the same car here this weekend. Looking good. And we mentioned about Michael Norman, the defending winner of this race, won the first race ever here at M&Ms last season. That would be one of 3 victories he would have on the year. Right now, he is top of the board, 51.103 for Michael Norman. All 4 of these drivers in this pack are right now in the Fast 5. That is the 5th place car, Reggie Fogelman, in this group of 4. Along with Mitchell Collins, Jesse Turner, and Reese Banks. So you've got 3 Fords and a Chevrolet, and I believe Fogelman just lost the 5th position. Who did he lose it to? It was to Collins. 51.361. That is 2 100ths faster than Fogelman's lap. And they're going to catch the 28 of Caleb Fogler here as well. So this will be a group of 5. See if they've got enough time here with about 4 minutes remaining to knock on the door of that group of 4 that currently hold the top 4 positions. Norman, Deaver, Rodriguez, and McIntyre. They're about 2/10 slower, this group, than that pack of 4 was. If they can get themselves organized, they might be able to do something. Getting into this group is going to be a big break for Caleb Fogler, who right now is 21st on the board. That is 21st out of 22 drivers that have taken time here in this session. His lap times should pick up. Jesse Turner just actually took the 5th position now from Mitchell Collins, so now he is the final driver in the Fast 5 at a 51.140. That's close. That is very close to that first group. He's only 8 thousandths off of Cole Deaver's lap time. So yeah, I think you might have a couple of drivers from this pack maybe start making their way up into the top 4 in speeds. We'll keep tabs on that. New colors for Anthony McCurry, new sponsor, Celsius energy drink on his Mazda out of Fortnite Squad Racing. Anthony McCurry coming off a great run last week at Charlotte, now 13th in overall points. 20th on the board right now, 21st right behind him, Keith Batson, a couple of drivers that might be starting at the rear of the field for tomorrow's event. But fortunately, at a super speedway like M&Ms, it is very easy to work your way from, from the back to the front of the field in relatively quick fashion. Got a tandem of 3 here. Casey Hoyt, the former points leader, 2-time winner of the season, lost the points lead to Rob Evans last week after he had a fuel leak in the closing stages of the 600. Had to make the unscheduled pit stop with about 2 to go. Remember I mentioned about that sister track, Coke Zero Super Speedway, that we were at earlier on this year? Guess who won at that track? It was Casey Hoyt, his 2nd win on the season. So keep an eye on him when the green flag drops tomorrow. Dylan Young right behind him, and then Dylan Poteet in tow. Dylan Young right now 16th on the charts. Dylan Young coming into this one in the, well, right now it'd be the 2nd wild card spot. Highest of the drivers with 1 win outside the top 10 in points. He is 12th in overall standings. And Dylan Poteet, right now 4th in the point standings. 29 points out of the points lead. All 3 of these drivers coming off pretty poor runs last week in the 600. How about the teammates all working together here? A young motorsports trio, Will Goss in the 11, RJ Bishop in the 98, Destin Bolin in the 12. Will Goss and Destin Bolin both inside the top 10 in overall points right now, currently in possession of playoff spots. Will 5th in points, Destin 8th in points. RJ Bishop, on the other hand, comes into this one 34th in the standings. So he will be looking to make his way up the point standings, maybe pick up a victory. He was a two-time winner last year, was RJ Bishop. Well, I mentioned about the fact that that group of four, Norman, Rodriguez, Deaver, and McIntyre, could be in trouble. Well, it's happened. Caleb Fogler is now at the top of the board. The former champion with a 51 flat currently leads the Fast Five. Michael Norman, Matthew Rodriguez are still up in the Fast Five in second and third. Reggie Fogelman is now up in fourth, and Cole Deaver is clinging on to the final position. There is less than, well, maybe a little more than a tenth and a half separating first from ninth on the speed charts right now, and zeros are on the clock. I believe those Fast Five I just mentioned are the ones that are going to be locked into the next round, which means for Matthew Rodriguez, almost a guarantee that he'll be locked into the show tomorrow afternoon. Fogler going to come to pit road. Almost broke into the 50s. Michael Norman, next closest to him, was 71 thousandths off of Caleb Fogler's lap time. There's the three of Cole Deaver. And he just got dropped to sixth in the last minute. Who got him? It was Jesse Turner, jumping to second there on that previous lap. 51.019 for Jesse Turner. That'll move another Ford in and knock a Chevrolet out. Deaver is going to miss out on advancing into the Fast Five for his second pole of the season, and Turner is going to join Caleb Fogler and Michael Norman as the blue ovals that will be in the Fast Five. I believe we've stopped scoring now. Yes, indeed we have. They'll have the Toyota of Matthew Rodriguez and the Chevrolet of Reggie Fogelman. That will be a part of the Fast Five here for the first group, Group A of round one. Deaver's going to miss out by 2/1000ths of a second and will subsequently start 11th for tomorrow's event. Benjamin Miles, didn't see much of him here in this session, but good lap time puts him 13th for tomorrow's starting grid. Mitchell Collins, Reese Banks, and Levi McIntyre will all qualify up inside of the top 20. Some big names can be starting towards the rear of the field. All the young motorsports cars, look at them lined up there, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. You bet they'll all be working together tomorrow. And Anthony McCurry coming off some good momentum last week. Keith Batson as well, both of them with good outings at Charlotte. We'll look to keep the momentum going, but they're going to have a lack of track position to start with. All right, well, we know the five drivers here from Group A that are moving on to the next round. Matthew Rodriguez, the benchmark of 51.107 for the other two non-charter drivers to have to beat. And we'll find out who the other five drivers are that are moving on to the final round of qualifying in just a moment after this quick break. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Group 2 of round 1 of qualifying set to take the track here for their 10-minute session. And wasting no time is former champion Kyle Matthews heading out onto the racetrack. Now, Kyle Matthews won a championship with Stephen Paul III and Caleb Fogler back in Season 5, and Caleb Fogler was top of the board in the first group, so maybe Kyle Matthews, feeling a little Season 5 champion mojo, will roll over to him here in this second group. Kyle Matthews had a decent outing last week at Charlotte. It could have been better, but I think late pit road strategy kind of bit that team. They were up inside of the top 10 for a good portion of the day, if not just outside of the top 10 on pit strategy, but a late call to come to pit road in the closing stages cost them a few positions. They did gain a spot in points. They are now 39th in overall standings coming to this one, but they're still 171 points out of the points lead, and if you're kind of looking at the gauge of them to 10th in the standings, if you're looking at that and not counting potentially a win, putting them in a wild card spot, currently Kyle Matthews is 90 points behind 10th in the standings. There is still plenty of season to go. They could hit a huge momentum streak and work their way up. The points are super, super close still all the way through the field. So it's a never say never, and Kyle Matthews, we talked about Coke Zero Super Speedway. It's where he went to victory lane 1 season ago, so obviously we know he's very good at the 3-mile Super Speedway configurations. Maybe he can get the first win of the season here today. Or actually, I must be thinking of somebody else. Kyle Matthews finished second last week, second or third. Not sure who it was I was thinking of then. But nonetheless, that gives you an idea of how far back he was in points if he ended up finishing in a podium position and only gained 1 spot. Kyle Matthews right now, the only one that's put a lap time down. I'm not sure if our ticker will register it yet or not. Yeah, looks like it will. 53.600. We saw Caleb Vogler almost break into the sub-51s. Could we see somebody do that here in this session? Nathan Ormond, he had a decent outing last week. Nathan coming into this race, though, 42nd in overall points. Didn't gain a spot, didn't lose a spot. Been a struggling year for Nathan Ormond in his debut season for Michael Norman Motorsports. Of course, was one of the few drivers, charter drivers, that missed out on the race at Mid-Ohio. That put him in a bit of a points deficit as well. His teammate there, Matt McIntyre, had a great run last week. Keep an eye on this guy, Matt McIntyre, because, you know, I was talking about Ryan Brommer down the home stretch of the first half of the regular season, what he was able to do after he was a driver that missed Mid-Ohio. Made his way up into the top 15 in points. Well, Matt McIntyre has put together some good races as of late. Had a good run at Darlington, followed it up with a good run at Chicagoland, and last week a top 10 run at Charlotte. And he is up 8 spots now after that race to 26th in points, trending in the right direction. Matt Haas there in the 8. Last week Matt had an engine failure at Charlotte. That dropped him to 37th in points. Right now he is top of the board at a 50.865 in this group of 4. This may be the first group to start looking at as far as being at the top of the board in lap times with the draft laps. We're at M&Ms Super Speedways, so the M&Ms sponsorship there on the 8. Would love to be able to get the M&Ms Camry into victory lane at their sponsored racetrack. Couple of teammates working here. Ryan Butcher in the 78. Ryan Brommer in the 87. Ryan Butcher coming into this one 29th in points. Ryan Brommer last week, after the great momentum he had heading into the All-Star break, did not get the best of results at Charlotte, and he dropped a couple of spots. He's 14th, though, in overall points. And right behind him, Connor Breton. You talk about drivers and teams taking the off week there for the All-Star race to evaluate their position and everything. Remember Connor Breton, he won at Texas. And then for the following 3 weeks or so, leading up to the All-Star break, all we were talking about for Breton, we weren't talking as much about his win, but about the fact he was outside the top 30 in points and needed to get back in there to be in a wild card spot. Well, last week at Charlotte, second career win for Connor Breton. First time that the 88 has gone to victory lane multiple times in a season. The interesting thing about all that, though, Connor Breton now a 2-time winner along with Matthew Rodriguez and Casey Hoyt, and Breton, we're still going to be talking about him this week with the same topic we've been talking about for the last few weeks, because that win did not advance him into the top 30 in points. He is still now 33rd in points. He's 8 points below the cut line. So even a win, it's a step in the right direction, but it wasn't enough to get him above the boundary. He's not even yet in a wild card position, so the work continues for the rookie out of Northeast Motorsports. Jessica Shelton as well got some work to do. After her fuel strategy miracle at Chicagoland a few weeks ago, she is still outside the top 30 in points as well, 38th in the standings where she currently sits, total of 4 points below the cut line. Needs more points to be able to get up there into the top 30 and have her win count towards a wild card position. Kyler Sustre, a few weeks ago we were talking about him in the same boat, but he has since turned up the wick and put a little bit of distance between himself and that cut line. He's up to 24th in overall standings. However, according to the scoring that I'm looking at here, he's only 4 points ahead of the cut line. I'm looking at this right now, folks. Remember I said that the points are super, super close? From 13th place, Anthony McCurry, down to the cut line of Matthew Rodriguez, it is only a total of 33 points. 33 points. That could be made up in one race. It is that close right now. Zachary Fitzwater in the 66. A lot of rumors swirling around Evans Motorsports on what their plans are for next season. They had to scramble to find a driver, replacement driver in the 6 car. Zachary Fitzwater, last 2 seasons, has found victory lane for this team. Last year at Indianapolis, this year at Mid-Ohio. Right now, Fitzwater is sitting 22nd in overall points. I believe he is in the 5th wildcard spot right now, as things currently stand. As Nick Gunther on pit road getting some service there. Like Daniel Voiles was also on pit lane. Charles Sanford right now holds the final transfer position into the final round of qualifying, 51.093 for him, 5th place, defending champion. M&M Super Speedway is an M&M's Mars sponsor, so I don't know how they would feel about a Hershey's sponsored race car winning. But Charles Sanford coming into this one, currently situated 31st in points. Carson Gum, great run for him last week, jumped up 10 spots in the standings after Charlotte. He is 16th in overall points right now. Keep an eye on him down this home stretch. And also this guy, Jose Mills. He was very strong second half of the regular season last year. Jose coming into this one currently 19th in points. He gained 5 spots in standings after Charlotte. Well, Kyle Matthews, remember we saw him first one off of pit road? It's worked out. He's top of the board. 50.276 for the former champion. Matt McIntyre just ahead of him currently sits in 2nd. Matt Haas in 3rd. Nathan Ormond, who's also in this group here, currently sits in 4th. And well, I don't know if scoring re-updated. I had Sanford as 5th. Now it says Fitzwater's back to 5th. Yeah, he beat Charles Sanford's 51.093 with a 0.67. So Fitzwater is back on the bubble spot here in this trio. It's not looking great for Mike Tellier, who is on pit road right now. He is 18th on the board, 51.821. Kyler Sustre right now would have the fastest lap time of the non-chartered drivers at a 51.071. Matthew Rodriguez had a 51.107. And that's what Mike Tellier would have to beat. And right now he is about 7/10 off of that with literally 10 seconds left on the clock. And we saw him on pit road. I don't think he'd even have enough time to be able to put in a warm-up lap, yet alone a money lap. As Fitzwater and Shelton right now, nose to tail, are the two 1 in, 1 out. Fitzwater 5th, Shelton 6th. Shelton might get a bit of a run here off of that draft of the 55 of Gunther, but scoring is already stopped for the Dodge Intrepid. So it looks like Zachary Fitzwater will advance into the Fast Five along with Matthews, McIntyre, Haas, and Ormond. So both of the Haas Racing Toyotas will be taking part in the final round of qualifying. And how ironic I kind of said it as a joke when Matthews left pit lane, but the two former champions from Season 5 lead their respective groups here in round 1 of qualifying. Fogler in Group A and Kyle Matthews in Group B. If we had a Group C, I think a lot of money would be on Stephen Power III if he was in a Duracell Cup Series Next Gen ride, and if we had a Group C. Red flag is out. We're just waiting for them to officially call the session. Nothing has changed in the top 5. It doesn't look like any of the scoring has updated. I believe all scoring has ceased at this point in time. And there you go. Session is concluded. And Kyle Matthews. Nobody was able... Well, actually... actually, we had 4 drivers break the 50-second barrier in this session, so you gotta wonder if maybe a little bit more rubber, a little more grip was laid down out there after the first group were on the track. 50.2s for Matthews and McIntyre, 50.4s for Haas and Ormond, and then Zachary Fitzwater would have been 67 one-thousandths of a second off of the fastest time in round 1, in Group 1 I should say, with 5th place. You'll notice Fitzwater and Shelton are tied for the 5th position. It then goes to owner points as to who is higher in the tiebreaker. Fitzwater coming into this one 22nd in points, Shelton 38th. So Shelton, despite being tied with Fitzwater, she's going to have to start 12th for tomorrow's race. Kyler Sustre will make the show as he'll be 14th. Charles Sanford, Jose Mills, and Carson Gum will be on the outside of the top 20 from 12th place on back. Mike Tellier will be the driver that misses the show this week as he was 20th on the speed charts. Nick Gunther starting way back there in the 55. Daniel Boyle's way back in the 19. He was the pole sitter at Coke Zero Super Speedway earlier on this season, another 3-mile super speedway, so not the lap times he was looking for, obviously. And Connor Breton, who needs points to get back up in the top 30 in standings after getting his second win of the season last week. 14th on the board. He'll be 28th on the starting grid tomorrow. We'll see what he's going to be able to do from mid-pack. But we have our 5 drivers now from Group A and Group B ready to fight it out for the pole position. Can we go 15 for 15 in different drivers capturing the inside of the front row? Can't wait to find out, and we will get those answers right after this race break. Don't go anywhere. Coverage continues on NNSCRA TV right after this. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Alright, final round of qualifying here. Our 5 transferees from Group A, our 5 transferees from Group B, ready to run for the pole position. 80% chance that we have a different pole sitter on the year. Only 2 former pole sitters in this final round of qualifying, both of them out of the Michael Norman Motorsports stables, and you saw both of them right there on the camera shot. Michael Norman on pit road, former pole sitter at Phoenix. Nathan Ormond, who has a pole at a super speedway already this season. It was the Daytona 500, and he is the first one out onto the track here, as these drivers had 5 minutes at the start. Ormond wasting no time to head out onto the racetrack. So a couple of drivers out of the Michael Norman Motorsports stables, a couple of drivers out of Haas Racing. Matthew Rodriguez qualifying into the Fast 5 from the first group, locking himself into the field. Another driver that needs points because he's the cut line driver, 30th in the standings coming into this one. After missing, I believe it was the last 2 races. I think he failed to qualify at Chicagoland as well. Ormond on the clock. Here come a couple more of his teammates. Matt McIntyre and Michael Norman coming off pit road together. Caleb Fogler, who was the fastest in Group A, coming out as well. Some Fords all leaving pit road together. Jesse Turner coming out here as well. Pretty good representation for the Blue Ovals here in the Fast 10. As Turner's going to try and latch on to the draft of Ormond. Matt Haas and Kyle Matthews still sitting on pit lane. Reggie Fogelman, the lone Northeast Motorsports driver, to advance here into the Fast 10. Zachary Fitzwater coming out onto the track as well. Matthew Rodriguez by his lonesome. Would have thought that we'd see the two Haas cars come off pit road together. As Nathan Ormond crosses the line, 54.009 for him. Matthews just now leaving pit lane. Looks like a lot of these drivers might be just looking for that one good money lap, and I like what I'm seeing here. The situation for one Jesse Turner. He's going to have the draft of Nathan Ormond here, but he's not going to stay behind him. He's going to go to the inside. I question that, although you do maybe drag the brake if you stay up behind the 23 with the momentum he had, and it may stifle your lap time, but I think this now offers an opportunity up to Nathan Ormond on the upcoming lap. Reggie Fogelman right now at the top of the board, 52.790. Turner, I think, will beat that. Yeah, he does, 52.535. Kyle Matthews on his lap. Ooh, look at this. Vogler, Norman, and McIntyre all together here. And Vogler, as I expected, top of the board, 51.878. I think your pole sitter is going to come from this group of three. And right now, Vogler is in the best position, though Michael Norman, if he can drop back a little bit off the 21, get a push from the 28, he might have something to say about this this pole position as well. But Caleb Vogler, look at this, gonna go up to the outside, pass by Michael Norman. Norman might have done that on purpose. He might have fallen to the back of this group of three to get a tow. Vogler gonna get Matt McIntyre a little loose. He might have had to breathe the throttle. Let's see what his lap time is and Michael Norman's lap time, because I think these two might have a shot for this pole here. They may have another lap that they can go around as well. There's going to be 50 seconds here as they cross the line. I think they got enough time for one more. 51.843 for Vogler. 52.002 for Norman, right now second. And Matt McIntyre, 52.1 in third place. Norman's in a great spot right here, though. He won this race one season ago. He wants to start from the pole position, but now we're three wide. I don't think this is going to help any of these drivers here improve their lap time. Nobody else is really in a pack. You've got Turner and Ormond, who right now are 5th and 6th. Matt Haas and Zachary Fitzwater have found each other. Fitzwater is 5th place. Haas is 8th. Fogelman got the draft off of Matthew Rodriguez. He's now up to 4th. Rodriguez currently in 9th. And did we have any change up here for the pole? We did not. They all stay the same in their positioning. And I think that the red flag is out. I think lap times have stopped being counted. Maybe. If they haven't, I don't know if these guys can get a tow off of Kyle Matthews or not. I don't know. I think they've already taken the checkers. I think most of these other drivers are just now coming around to complete their final timed laps. Ormond's coming to pit road. He's going to be, looks like, 8th for tomorrow's race. Turner crosses the line, improved, 52.157, but he'll still stay in 7th place. Matt Haas now up to 2nd at a 51.830. And Fitzwater jumped up to 4th. Reggie Fogelman just jumped up to the top. 51.424 for Reggie Fogelman. And Rodriguez, is his lap time, if they'd stopped being counted? They have. I wondered if maybe getting the draft up there. Reggie Fogelman is going to top that trio of Fords, and he's going to get the pole position. Nice job. 1 week removed from Northeast Motorsports getting the victory at Charlotte. Fogelman follows it up with a pole here today at M&Ms, and that will extend the streak to 15 races with 15 drivers starting on the inside of the front row. Look at that. Fogelman, Haas, and Fogler going to be your top 3. Then Zachary Fitzwater in 4th. Your former pole sitters on the season. Highest one would have been Michael Norman in 5th. Orman was back in the 8th position, but not even a contest. 0.4 of a second, Reggie Fogelman over Matt Haas. And that will be the front row for tomorrow's race here from M&Ms Super Speedway. Fogler, Fitzwater in row 2. Teammates Norman and McIntyre in row 3. Then Turner, Ormond, Matthew Rodriguez, and Kyle Matthews will be the top 10 for your starting lineup tomorrow afternoon. Well, we're not done here today. Later on this evening, you're going to have the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers having their Super Speedway race, as they'll be at the Armory Digital Super Speedway. Then tomorrow, we cap off the Super Speedway doubleheader here at M&M's Super Speedway. Hope you guys will join us for that. If you enjoyed this qualifying session, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finish results of qualifying, and we will see you guys tomorrow, and we will see you this evening for the lights race. Until then, though, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, Offline Racing at its best.